And we're live. So today for Mattman and Robin, we're missing Robin as per our rules dictate. If there's an escalation and there's a customer in need, that's number one priority for us. So Robin is off doing some escalations for customers right now. So if you can, he's going to join later. But if not, it's just not my ugly face. We also have Dan Kai's ugly face. Oh, wait, that's not what I meant.
I can hear you.
Dan Kaye is one of our engineers on the Fed team out of Ottawa in Canada. And the premise of what we're going to be doing today is really focused around a lot of stuff that he's talking to customers about, of what he's showing and kind of demoing for customers. And this is not only a use case in his space. This is a super cool use case of how we're automating F5 in the cloud and what we're doing. So Dan, I guess one of the things I just want to illustrate is, well, first of all, welcome to our live cast here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No problem. You may recognize him too. We did a year ago at ISC. Dan and I did some stuff. We did in French. I guess this is probably like another colleague too. We should do some more French content stuff as well with you, Dan, next time we get the chance.
Bien sûr.
But anyways, I'm going to jump right into this because I don't want to kill everyone's time here. This is just supposed to be like a short little demo of one of the awesome things we're doing with our engineers and our customers. And we kicked it off, what, like 10 minutes ago, Dan?
I launched my script, about 10 minutes or so.
10 minutes ago. Okay. So here, this typical engineer too. Well, it's been like 10 minutes and 22 seconds. But the point of it is we kicked off this automation for the cloud. We hit the easy button about 10 minutes ago. And correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, what we're doing is we're setting up all the infrastructure in the cloud and then rolling out Big IP, correct?
Yeah, it was a demo I had to build for a customer to instantiate an environment. And of course, customers will typically have their infrastructure. So my script also includes the steps to build the VNets and the IPs and the public IPs and the security access control lists, as well as the Big IP, the F5 appliance. And the real value or the demo, the point of the demo was to show how I can automate, provision the F5, give it a license, turn it up, configure the IPs on the F5, as well as configure the coined phrase of zero trust access. So it's an APM access policy manager functionality with SSL VPN capabilities, as well as web SSH capabilities to control the authentication, but also the access into the infrastructure for the administrators to access their machines once they're spun up.
Right. So let me ask you a question too. When we say zero trust, and I feel like this confuses some people too. When we say zero trust, we mean not don't trust anything or anyone, but it's like the concept is trust but verify.
I actually say don't trust anybody, even if they are on your internal network and they're authenticated. Don't trust them. Authenticate them continuously. So verify and challenge them continuously.
So temporary trust with verification. So it's zero trust, and we're always going to check.
That's right. Okay. We used to think of securing access, right? Authenticating people where they won't connect in. You start your VPN launcher, for example, and you put in your username, password, your token number, or two-factor of choice, whatever the company you're working with has, and then you're in. So what we're suggesting here, our approach is we're going to do that. Plus, we're going to continuously do that for every time your computer or your phone or your appliance, your device makes a request for a new page. If you click through the website and you're digging in to your payroll systems, we're going to verify automatically every time something new gets requested to be displayed or sent down to your computer.
Right. Okay. Makes sense.
And the concept of always checking is one thing, but also to be able to do it in a manner that is contextual based on who the user is, of course, on the credentials, where and when he's connecting from, as well as what he's connecting to. Right. So because I'm doing this all the time, continuously, I can ask you when you try to connect to f5.com as an employee to our portal, you get your username and password prompted first time you click in, and if it's valid passwords, you get the portal show up with the icons that are representative of the applications you're allowed to. If one of the applications is, for example, accounts and receivable finance systems, because I'm still authenticating, as soon as you click that one, I can configure the F5 to add another prompt for additional two-factor or MFA, or re-challenge you again for your passwords if I want. Right. Even though you're already signed in and you've got a valid session, authenticated session, I can, because you're going to a more sensitive component in your portal or your application, I can dynamically change or request additional checks on you.
Okay. So the next thing I want to do is kind of pop over. Do you want me to share your screen out here now too, and you kind of walk us through what you did to kick this off? Will that work?
Sure. I have, and to be honest, I have a little bit of a challenge because I think I left my lab in a paused state. But I'll show you this first. This is the concept. Some of the icons you'll recognize here are Azure-centric, Microsoft Azure. However, I have the same capability for AWS, and Google Cloud will be the next one. Okay. The differences between the different environments.
So when you say next one, you mean next one you set up. The capability is always there, right?
Yeah, well, the capability is there, but to spin up an F5 in a cloud environment, right, each cloud provider has a different API, different tweaks, different rules. So they need to be distinct. So I have to have and actually there is a project that I've heard that I know we're working on at F5 to make that more generic. So it won't matter which cloud, you just say, I want to deploy this in Azure, and the script will take care of it for you. Right now, I have to take account of it in my script when I spin out my automation script. I need to know if I'm sending it to Azure or AWS right now. Right. The sequence of events is a bit different. Okay. But the concept is once the F5 is up and running and it has an IP address on it or a domain name or an entity that is reachable from the external network, the concept is the same. I will have a portal in my demo that shows a bunch of icons that the user is allowed to access in terms of the icons represent applications. One of them is a VPN, SSL VPN. The other one is just a generic website. The other one I recently discovered or started playing with is Web SSH. It's the ability to grant the people that connect in that are authenticated access to SSH into their appliances. So a lot of these environments, the value of the cloud brings is the agility, right? How to be able to spin up something fast and repeated in a repeated manner. Right. And Linux machines lend themselves very well to that because they're very small footprint. Linux machines, as well as appliances, even the F5 appliance, administrators will often want to SSH to the appliance. So we have a solution to help alleviate that. So basically, I don't need an SSH client on my machine. I hit the APM, the F5 appliance portal that I'm offering, and there's a web SSH application running on the F5.
So let me ask another question too. Typically in an environment, in this demo you're doing right now that we started now probably like 15 minutes ago, we are running through setting up all the infrastructure and everything, and then the big IP. So typically, your customer probably has all that set up in advance. Yes or no?
Yes, definitely.
Right. So really, the actual fact of this, we should break out the actual automation of the F5 part as a fraction of that whole, like, what is it? Still, in my mind, it sounds like it's pretty quick to 20 minutes to set up all the infrastructure and deploy the big IP. Sounds like, is that quick or is that typical?
It is quick because when I do this manually, it's going to take me a couple hours.
Right. Okay.
Right? Back and forth. The automation here makes. I'm trying to open them. Sorry, I'm browsing here, trying to get to my script. So basically, the intelligence that the Ansible, I'm using Ansible in this case. You can use any agent you want, but I'm able to link the task. So Ansible will make a call to Azure and create a subnet, create a VPC, create some rules, and then it'll take the information. So it's that subnet that gets created. I need to know what that number is or the ID is when next step is to spin up an F5. So that daisy chains all the different components that get spun up or executed. If I did it manually, I would have to go in Azure portal, find the subnet name. It's a big long hash of numbers. I'd have to select it, remember or copy it, and then paste it into the other window where I'm deploying the F5, and have a lot of back and forth like this.
So let me just clarify another thing too. Is in this playbook and this whole automation piece, you could jump out of it and ask for input from the user. So your customers or our customers can design these templates to operate in terms of, I need you to put in an IP address. I need you to put in the Azure AWS numbers. We can that can all be customized, so you can have like inputs or checks throughout, right?
Correct. I played with that actually yesterday in Ansible. You can prompt on the command line when you're running the command, and the use case I was deploying is deploy a website with 3 web servers behind, and then I can prompt the user, which one of the 3 servers do you want to take offline for maintenance?
Right.
And that can be automated or manually controlled like that. In other instances, we'll leverage the power that the F5 appliance might have to monitor the website. And if the website is no longer serving HTTP port 80, for example, the F5 will automatically mark it as inoperative and remove it from the load balancer pool. So I can feed on that to trigger other instances, other actions such as, okay, this one of the 3 web servers went down. Let's make a call back to Azure, for example, and spin up a new server to replace that one that just failed. Once it's up, configure it with the proper website, and then the performance and the capacity is restored back to the full 3 servers in the pool.
And you're doing this in hours or minutes?
This would be minutes. No, this would be minutes for sure. Potentially seconds, depending on what kind of server it is. If it was a very simple container, for example, serving a web container, you're running Nginx maybe with a simple web page. This is a matter of seconds, a few seconds.
Okay, cool. Okay, and just kind of update us, like, where are we with this whole deployment right now that we're?
I think I messed it up, to be honest.
Live demos, of course.
Yes, it is. If I go in my portal, let me see if I can find my portal. And I'll have to switch my screen over here.
So you know what's going to happen? We're going to have to do this in under 5 minutes again another time, and I can post that.
Well, that you can do. We're live, right? We can't do video editing. Shoot. So what I have is
We have watchers too right now.
if you're not familiar with Azure, I have here we go. So it went in, and how far did it get? So it spun up a VPC, which is a virtual private network. It spun up some subnets.
Yeah.
Let me just here. Virtual machines. It spun up. I have it spin up a Windows 10 machine to serve as my server because it's simple and easy. I have it set up a big IP, one F5 big IP,
right,
and public IPs and security groups and all that. Now, how far did it go? I can't see if it actually completed. So what I can try to do is rerun the command, because the beauty with the reason I like Ansible is they call it idempotency. That's a hard word for me to say. Idempotency. I can rerun the script, and it'll only affect the changes where the changes are required. So if I rerun this script again to deploy my environment, wrong folder. It will check, and if the F5 has already been deployed, it'll just skip over that task and go to the next one. Which becomes very powerful. It's very common, I guess, or practical for DevOps style of operations.
Oh, very cool. So even though you completely screwed up my live video, you're able to fix it on the fly.
Yes, I'm not sure how far it got. So for this one, I've got verbosity turned on, but it's like retrieving some packages. It's setting the big IP addresses. It's deploying the VNet and the subnets. So it's going to go in. So I'm not sure it'll be. I'll be able to show you this finished working website up and running, and to know when I go back in. I'm sorry, scrolling here. If I go back in here in my Azure, there should be a public. Yeah, there's a public IP. There's a public IP for my.
So for people who aren't as familiar with this as well, too, who are watching, we're looking at this is your what are we looking at right now?
This is Azure. This is my I'm an Azure administrator in this environment, and this is a resource group where I see all my instances that I spun up. Actually, my script has spun up in Azure. It's spun up virtual machines, virtual networks, public IPs,
right.
And it gave them logical names, network interfaces, disk space, and I can. It looks like my script is still running. I have a public IP here, but I don't think it's going to be ready to take my connection. For example, if I try to connect to it, HTTPS, it's just going to spin there. So it's not done running, unfortunately. Okay. If I go back to my script, my Ansible script, it deployed the VNet, it deployed a Windows 10 desktop machine. Now it's deploying a big IP with a license on it. And that one's going to take a few minutes, I suspect.
Okay, so one of the things I'm going to get you to do after is I do want to capture this on video of us running the live demo. So you and I will pop into a Zoom meeting another day, and I'll include the link in our YouTube broadcast so people can watch it later. But I'm under the impression that it takes like 5 minutes to, once the infrastructure and everything is all set up, to deploy the big IP.
Yep, and I want to ask you: is there a way you can also include links or share links?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to bring it up to show you. And this is something I'm working with our F5 product management team, which I'm really excited about. It's a training like workshop lab exercises that's very much like what I'm doing in the demo. Let me pull it up for you here. It basically allows the power of Ansible to automate mundane tasks. And use cases are as follows. Where are they? There's a use case. Can you see the screen?
Yeah, you're breaking up a bit, but that's okay. We'll just work through it. I can see the screen. It's hard to see, but I can include links. So if you share the links with me after, I'll put it in the YouTube broadcast.
Perfect. Yeah, it is very similar, but this one is going to allow, I can run this as a workshop, a lunch and learn session, for example. Bring your computer and I'll set you up and we'll walk through it together. And these are very simple use cases, but very pertinent, because this is something typical network operations teams that manage F5s do all the time. Configure a redirect from HTTP to HTTPS. Apply new SSL strips because it's refreshed. Okay,
so you're breaking up. So I get there's a bit of a demo here that we can view. That's where do we eat? We'll include the link after the fact on the YouTube site. Number two, my other question is, I'm pretty sure people ask this too, is can you share the templates you did to automate this? Or is that proprietary, or what is that?
No, absolutely. This is a full DevOps here. We're collaborating. I've got them on GitHub. And these ones I'm going to also share are going to be on GitHub as well. Yes.
Okay, I know you live out in the country somewhere too, so probably I'm saying that your internet connection is not awesome. By running all these videos as well as everything else you're doing, it's making it hard for you to understand you. So typically we don't let these run longer than 20 minutes. I'm going to check in one more time. Where are we with the deployment of the big IP?
If I'm reading this correctly, there should be another 10 minutes left before it's done.
So total deploy time is still under an hour to set up the entire Azure workspace and all the infrastructure that's required. And then we just a few minutes ago reinstantiated that and started running again to deploy the big IP. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, well, typically not having to do the whole infrastructure thing every single time, running the big IP, that'll be another one of the links that you and I are going to make another time about how to run this and just show the template and the big IP. So I'm going to include links to templates. I'm going to include links to the Ansible workshop there you had, and eventually our video on the 5 minutes or less it takes to deploy the big IP. Make sense?
It does.
Okay, cool. So I know we are all busy people. That's what we're doing over lunch today. Let's sign off here. More to come on this. I think this is still, even though our always live demo, this is what happens. They just don't always work the exact way you want. But it was cool that you could show in this case where we could jump right back in and resume, and it understands what we did wrong or what we needed to fix or move forward. So that was super awesome as well. So I think, although the demo was not 100% successful, I think the demo that we're trying to show here is it's this really flexible way of deploying for our customers, and we'll have details on that as well too, and the templates to share.
Am I still breaking up now?
No, you're okay now.
One key point is my background is a network engineer with 5 years now. 5 years doing this, like this is application, this is coding and programming and scripting is new for me for 2 years now. So I'm a net ops guy and network engineer, and I love this stuff. I'm not. I was never trained or didn't take classes on programming, and I'm able to do this. This is very powerful.
Very cool. Awesome. So if there's anything else you want to do, maybe measure yourself on the measure chart behind you.
That's my son. Yes. Right.
Yeah. So next time we'll do Dan's measurements. We'll see how tall he's gotten from the next time. But I'm going to end the broadcast to say thanks for joining us, Dan. Like I said, hopefully we'll get together and do some French content another time as well. And
can you give me 1 second?
Yeah, sure.
Because the script I had actually completed just now.
Ooh.
I don't want to jinx myself, but I'm going to try connecting again.
All right. Well, I'm going to show you. Everyone's watching, so.
All right. So I don't have a valid SSL cert, but it worked. Yay. So my F5 and those 20 minutes came up, even though I screwed up my run and I had to run it a second time. And here I have just a very basic credentials checking system. This is an F5 APM portal that we can use to help users deploy infrastructure in the cloud and control access very securely. The beauty of this is it doesn't matter which cloud I can, or if it's on-prem. This piece here, for an end user perspective, always will be the same.
Right.
So I can click.
So this is super cool. In under 25 minutes now, we've deployed it, screwed it up, redeployed it, and now it's working.
Yep.
So here, this demo is 100% successful. That's pretty awesome.
Yep, exactly. And that's the little web SSH trick that I was referring to earlier, which I absolutely love. So now through my browser, I'm SSH'd into an F5 appliance in the cloud securely. So with I could have added two-factor. I could have added the endpoint checks to make sure I have my antivirus and my firewall turned on. There it is. It works.
Cool. That's awesome. I'm still going to end this now, buddy. I got to get going to my next appointment. But awesome save. Way to bring it back together.
Thanks for having me.
Just demoing the fact that not all deployments go great, but you can really reel it in and still do it under 25. That's amazing, man. Awesome. Thanks very much for your time, and we are out of here.
Cheers.
See you guys.